What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Good morning. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. It is Friday, May 9th, 2025. We are standing here at the Polderbaan, which is secondary runway for both inbound and outbound traffic today, or at least in the upcoming hours. So we have departures to the north right now from the Polderbaan and departures to the east from the Buitenveldebaan runway 09. Kagbaan as 06 is the primary runway for arrivals, and 09 is the primary runway for outbound traffic. Means that when we are going to see an inbound rush hour, traffic outbound will only go from 09, and Polderbaan is going to be used as runway for inbound traffic as 18 right. So it's an interesting runway configuration. This was Delta Airlines flight 133 to Detroit, Michigan. An A350, brand new. First flight was in August last year. It's KVK, and this time KVK with blue skies. Well, mostly blue skies. You can see some high cirrus clouds, contrail remnants looking to the north, looking to the west, looking to the east, and looking to the south. Overhead traffic, which is going to Kagbaan to land. This looks like El Al 777-200. A very good morning to everybody who has joined. Marja, goedenavond. James Mail, good morning. Klaas, good morning. Danny, good morning. Ronald, good morning. Paul H, Doekman, Eddie, David, good morning. Rosie Groovy, morning one and all. Happy Friday to you all. So it is an interesting day today with not very different. Oh, and I see that my camera is moving upwards, which means it is pointing. It's a bit back heavy. Let's see if I release the lock. Yeah, that's better. So it's an interesting day with an interesting runway configuration where normally the Polderbaan is a primary runway. Today it is a secondary runway for both inbound and outbound traffic. And this is Britty Hopper, Eastern Airways, flying on behalf of KLM to Leeds, Embraer 190, flight 1019. I am not completely alone. Donald and the maid are also already there. And in the meantime, a big thank you to Klaas for your prettig weekend and your super chat. Prettig weekend to you too, mate. Hope that you guys are going to have some sunshine in Bremen as well. Over here in the Netherlands, next 2 weeks we're looking like we were going to see sunshine and warm temperatures. Temperatures are expected to increase, get in the 20s, 20 Celsius. So yeah, until 11 o'clock this runway is going to be used for outbound traffic, and then between 11 and 11:40 the runway is going to be used as 18 right for inbound traffic, and then from 11:40 until 1 once again for outbound traffic. What that means for our ability to see any Queens or the A380, I don't know yet. This is a bit of an a situation that is unfamiliar for me. But you guys can do the math if you look on Flight Radar, check out which queens are underway, what their ETA is. I think we stand a chance of being able to see the A380. If its arrival is past 1 o'clock. Ironically, when I checked this morning, its ETA was 12:59, so I'm not sure yet about our ability to see the A380 land here. So this was the first batch of airplanes going out. We now have to wait for our next batch. They are already underway though. KLM will be arriving first by the looks of it. That is going to go to Paramaribo. I'm not sure if we are also going to see the Suriname A340 leave for Paramaribo today. Probably not then. In the meantime, good morning to all who have joined. Eddie, the nose is doing better, but I am still using nasal spray just to make sure that I'm not going to be sounding too clogged and have to blow my nose too frequently. But it's slowly but surely getting better. Andre202, good morning. And Leo says that the PHGOV will be arriving overhead in a couple of minutes. Is that so? I do see that there is a Qatar coming this way. Has it already passed by? Probably has, hasn't it? So it is interesting to see that overhead traffic arriving and eventually landing on runway 06 is going right over the airfield at 7,000 feet. Means we can see the airplanes quite decently. Thibaut, good morning. Erik, goedemorgen. Jannes, good morning. Danny, goedemorgen. Joop, goedemorgen. QJ, good morning. Peter, good morning. And happy birthday, Peter. Peter is celebrating his 52nd birthday today. Gefeliciteerd, Peter. What lovely weather to be celebrating your birthday today. Nog vele jaren, man. The Hobart Aviation fan, good evening. Welcome back. Aviations by Jensen, good morning. Peter Miller, good morning. Martin, goedemorgen. Ronald, goedemorgen. Krentenbol uit Bos en Lommer. Patrick, good morning. Jonathan, good morning. Pieter Rovers, goedemorgen. Andre202, good morning. Jewe Slijm, goedemorgen. Now, Jewe Slijm says that the Orange Pride is going to leave for Johannesburg at 10:35. That's probably going to leave via 09, isn't it? Now, I also see that there is a Boeing 747-8 to Milan active on the platform, but I suspect that that's also going to be a departure from the wrong runway. Hey, what up, Alan? Good to see you, mate. Right, QJ does seem to indicate that the A340 might be coming later this morning. Right now, the 777 to Paramaribo already just now passed us by. It looks like KLM flight 1251 to Helsinki is also coming this way. Let's see what else is coming this way. Bit hard to see. Not sure if this is going to be a very action-packed stream. It might also be a very boring stream because we are standing at the secondary runway for everything. So it might be that we are missing out on all the good stuff, both the arrivals and the departures. But then again, it is something different than just the same all the time. Bird control will be passing by in the foreground briefly from right to left, doing an inspection. Ah, So the A340 to Paramaribo is assigned to the polder. Estimated time of departure 10:37. That's good news. So at least the airplane that we saw land yesterday, we are also going to see take off again. Now, I already have a plan. How about tomorrow I'll go to the Kaagbaan, where probably arrivals will take place and we can see the A340 arrive once again from Paramaribo. Going full circle twice maybe. Something like that. See the A340 as many times as we can while they are still in use. Now, also, Aviations by Jensen is celebrating 9 months of membership, 3 months to go for a year. Loved it so far. Thank you so much for your continued support, Jensen. Aviations by Jensen. Hope you still like it in the lounge. If we're running low on supplies, do let me know. And I'll put them on the groceries list stat. 3 more months to go. Then you'll be turning green for a year. Greenpeace will be very happy. After that, it's blue time. Right now it is also blue time over here at the Polderbaan. KLM flight 713 is about to line up. It's going to go to Paramaribo in Suriname. This is a 777-300 The PHB VU Bravo Victor uniform, 7-year-old airplane, first flight September 2017. Good morning, Heesakkers. Ricardo, goedemorgen. Stroopwafels are running low. Check. I'll put them on the groceries list. Make sure that we get another supply in the lounge. Haditina, goedemorgen. Reticent Guy, good morning. Piotrke, good morning. This particular airplane, the PHBVU, is 7 years old. First flight was in September 2017. Hadi PT Hommel, goedemorgen. Alright, showtime. And another arrival here on this side of the platform area. KLM flight 1251. Just emerged from behind the fire station. That's a 737 to Helsinki. And should be the next departure after this. So yeah, welcome to the show. Those of you who joined us later, you're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We are standing at the Polderbaan. Now in use as 36 left, later to be used as 18 right. So today, this runway, ordinarily a primary runway, is now a secondary runway to both inbound and outbound traffic. It is assisting with the departures together with 09, which is the primary runway for outbound traffic. 06 is the primary runway for inbound traffic. And later this morning from 11 until 11:40, this runway is also going to be used no longer as 36 left for departures, but as 18 right for arrivals. And then from 11:40 until 1, it is expected to be used again as primary runway for departures, just like how it is right now. Hey, Reticent Wife, also good to be back in the chat. Good to see ya. Matt, goedemorgen. Aversteria, good morning. And we have seen some ducks already. Aversteria, Donald and the mate were doing some washing in the morning at the peninsula a little further to the north. Looking back, now I see that they are no longer there. You know how it is with them. Now, luckily, I do see Donald here in the foreground. Here he is. I'm looking around to see if I can see Daisy or his mate, but I don't see either of them. It's just Donald over here right now. Hadi Han, goedemorgen. Mr. Blue Sky, good morning. Fern Sebastian, guten Morgen, herzlich willkommen. Hey there Katie, good morning. Tractor also already busy doing things. And here a visualization of the pipeline. Well, I say pipeline, but it looks more like there is a bus approaching, or is that one of the fire trucks? I wonder. Nah, that seems to be a truck. Interesting, interesting. So there's the next airplane coming this way. And that should be a 737 from KLM, flight 1269 to Copenhagen. Another Embraer 190 also following. Has just traversed the center runway, flight 1303 to Gdansk. Yeah. And pretty soon we are going to see the Nippon Cargo 7478 leave for Milan via runway 09. Let's see if we can catch its climb out of the airfield. In the meantime, I saw that Malky Stoddard is celebrating 22 months of membership. He says, "Keep up the excellent work, boy. Nearly 2 years. Mate, thank you so much for your continued support. Hope that everything is still to your liking in the lounge. 2 more months to go, and then you will be another member who has turned blue. A blue member, 2 years. What a milestone. Almost there. Malky, thank you so much for all the support all throughout those nearly 2 years. And I will try to keep up the excellent work. I'll resort to using Viagra if need be." Wolfgang also back in the chat. Servus, good to see you, mate. Rob H asks if Donald eats eels. That's a good question. Don't know for sure. Think they are mostly on a vegetarian diet. Right, so over here behind those trees lies runway 0927, and if all is well, Nippon Cargo flight 49 is leaving from it. Destination Milan in Italy. Question is, where is it going to emerge from behind the trees? Probably... oh, there it is. Further to the right than I initially thought. So there it is. Nippon Cargo Queen, flight 49, on its way to Milan. It's a Boeing 7478. "14 years old already, first flight February 2011. Meanwhile, departures here take place. Hadi Marcel, goedemorgen. Ron, goedemorgen. Blackburst, goedemorgen. Richard, goedemorgen. Sheila, good morning. Elamine, good morning. Welcome to the show, everybody else who has joined in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. Donald is over here in the water. And departures take place from Polderbaan, which now is open as runway 36 left. Later, at 11 o'clock, from 11 until 11:40, it is expected to reverse its use, and is temporarily going to be used as secondary runway for arrivals as 18 right. Today the runway is being used as secondary runway for everything. This is KLM flight 1303 to Gdansk. That's number 190. 16 years old. Visa is the registration. PHEZA. So what today's runway use will mean for our ability to see Queens and the King remains to be seen. Let's have a quick look on Flight Radar and see what is airborne and underway first of all, and then we can maybe guesstimate what we will be able to see or not. So there is a Cathay Pacific Cargo 747 underway. It is expected at 11:16. Around that time, this runway should be open for arrivals. But then again, runway 06 is also going to be open, so it depends where they're going to lead it to. It might be that this one will go to the Kaagbaan, runway 06. It might also be forwarded to us. The Saudia will arrive at a moment where only one runway for arrivals will be open, so that's going to go to runway 06. Emirates is now expected after 1 o'clock, and that's also the same. The same goes for Emirates as is the case for the Cathay Pacific 747. On paper, this runway should be open for arrivals at the time of the arrival, but you don't know for sure which runway it will be assigned to. We'll have to see. Earlier, when both Kaagbaan and Polderbaan were open, traffic from the east was forwarded to Polderbaan most of the time. So on paper, I would say that the odds of the Cathay Cargo 747 and the A380 going to this runway over the Kaagbaan are a little higher, but again, it's hard to say with a high degree of certainty. Same goes for this Atlas Air. That should, on paper, be landing on this runway, normally speaking, even if the Kaagbaan is open, but you don't know for sure. So I would say that there are 3 airplanes now that stand a reasonable chance of landing here when this runway will be open for arrivals later in the show. But do I dare to put a lot of money on it? Not yet. We can see the firefighters heading out on a patrol round, but it looks like they are going to the main platform area instead of doing a tour around the block over here. Maybe they're going in the opposite direction and they'll be heading out and be arriving from this side later. We'll see. We'll find out soon enough. In the meantime, our pipeline is filling with some wide bodies. So it is time. It's time for some heavy machinery. Hey, Flight Radar tells me that there's a Bombardier C-Series 300 passing overhead. Hard to hear it, also challenging to see. It should be there. No. Yeah, no, that is it. They're already quiet as it is. Passing by without producing a contrail makes it even more challenging to look in the right part of the sky. Here we have Aer Lingus flight 603, which will be leaving for Dublin, Ireland in a few moments. It's an A320, 14 years old, first flight April 2011. And in the meantime, Optimus Toaster is also back in the chat and is celebrating today 14 months of membership. Thanks for restocking the lounge. Coffee. Yeah, well, happy to oblige, mate. Sorry that we're almost out of stroopwafels. Anybody who has ever been to the Netherlands knows that with coffee you ought to have a stroopwafel. So apologies, Optimus Toaster, for not having enough stroopwafels for you guys to drink, to eat with your coffee. I hope the coffee is still good. I hope things otherwise are still good and to your liking in the lounge, Optimus Toaster. Thank you so much for your continued support. 14 months already. Still green. And hopefully to your liking. So, yeah, contrails are quite well visible. There's an airplane flying over there. Already something that passed by over there. Looking in the direction of where traffic overhead from Frankfurt usually comes from, I don't see anything yet. Over here we have big planes. This is American Airlines Flight 203 to Philadelphia, but it will have to wait and let a KLM cheater go to Dublin first. KLM Flight 1137 lined up via Cheaters Lounge. Cheaters Lounge? Cheaters Lane. It's the Aurora Sky Lounge and it's Cheaters Lane. KLM Flight 1137 to Dublin, Ireland, 737-800. PHBXZ. Bravo X-Ray Zulu is the registration. 17-year-old airplane, first flight February 2008. Already lined up, ready to go to Philadelphia and Pennsylvania is American Airlines Flight 203. Harry is also doing a flyby. Harry the Hypnotizing Heron. As long as he stays away from where the airplanes pass him by. This is American Airlines Flight 203 to Philadelphia. It's a 7878 Dreamliner, November 878 Bravo Golf. The registration, it's 4 years old, first flight December 2020. Casper, goedemorgen. John Singleton, good morning. What? Shortage of stroopwafels? What? Alexander is tuning in from Johannesburg, South. Good morning. Curtis says that his mom will be leaving with EasyJet to Bristol. If all is well, that should be departing from this runway, so shouldn't be a problem filming it. We have another A350 from Delta lined up, going to Minneapolis, Minnesota. The lights are on. This is the November 514 Delta November. It's 5 years old. First flight was in March 2020. Good morning, Esther Benjamins. Good morning, Duns. Good morning, Carol. Kars, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Happy Friday to you all. You're watching AMS Live. This is the Polderbaan, now in use for departures, and between 11 and 11:40 expected to be used for arrivals, and then from 11:40 until 1 once again for departures. There are multiple 747s on the way, the A380 as well. And with a little bit of luck, we are going to see A few of them land here later when this runway is going to be used for arrivals. The wind is blowing from the northeast, and runway 09 is used as primary runway for outbound traffic, and runway 06 is used as primary runway for inbound traffic. And Polderbaan is, contrary to normal, now a secondary runway for everything. This is KLM flight 605 to San Francisco. It's a 777-200 registration PHBQF Papa Hotel Bravo Quebec Foxtrot. 21 years old, first flight March 2004. Mario, guten Morgen, herzlich willkommen. Marcel, GTR, goedemorgen. Robin, goedemorgen. Ilko, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody. I see that I totally forgot to thank Malky Stoddard just now, who gifted 5 memberships. Mate, sorry, I had a feeling in the back of my mind that I missed something. And then I remembered Malky gifted 5 memberships. Now I forgot to highlight the message and thank him for it. Malky, apologies for the delay. Thank you so much for the gifted memberships, for your generosity. Welcome to the Skylines new members. Don't forget to say thank you to Malky if you are one of the 5 recipients of his gifted memberships just now. You have custom emojis at your disposal. Use them however you see fit. Don't forget to say thank you to Malky. Don't forget to enjoy the custom emojis. Don't forget to vote in the election as well. We're electing what is going to become the 30-second custom emoji. For a brief moment we were above 1400 members. Yesterday I had a look and we're already down to 800 something. That's how quickly it goes. Most of the memberships, of course, being gifted and only run for a month. But there's still elections going on to select the eventual 30-second custom emoji. So if you haven't voted yet, and you do have an opinion, don't forget to vote. Now, I also have to readjust my screen because the scrolling now once again has caused an inability to see the last messages in the chat. It does seem to be updating, but I don't think I see the last chat message in the bottom of my screen yet. This is Baltic to Tallinn in 8:20. And before the next airplane is going to take off, let me see if I can quickly fix that issue with the chat window. Lock pen and tilt so that I can fumble with my phone. Easiest solution usually is just to straight out copy the URL, close the chat window altogether, open a new fresh window, paste the URL, set top chat to live chat, pinch to zoom in, scroll down No, shit, that's still... Let's do that again. Right, well, let me continue with that later. There's also a departure taking place here. And a platoon of aquatic birds over here passing by. Whoa, 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 whoa. Chill the F out, mate. The coots were here, but only temporarily. Donald thinking, what the F just now happened? Coots be crazy. His mate over there witnessed the entire thing. Right, think I have my chat window once again up to speed with the latest messages. This is KLM flight 741 to Bogota. (787-10) Dreamliner going to Bogota in Colombia. That's right next to Ecuador. Let's see. Is it really back? Oh shit. Yeah. 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 And if all is well, Dukman's message is the last message that I see. If you can read this, this is up to speed. CRJ in the background going to runway 06. And over here we now wait for the departure of KLM flight 1231 to Göteborg, 737-800. The PHB XF Bravo X-Ray Foxtrot, 24 years old, first flight May 2000. There's a KLM A321 Neo to Person-Chester after this, and then an E2 Embraer 195 followed by a Bombardier C-Series 300. Two back-to-back departures of geared turbofan engined airplanes. That's going to sound very similar. Right, I desperately need to re-invite the elephant back into the room. Alright, here we are again. The A321 Neo to Person-Chester already spooling up. KLM flight 1031. This is the FAXC PHAXC. First flight was in November 2024. Donald and his mate nibbling. No time to waste though. The departures here at the Polderbaan. Continuing with this E2 Embraer 195. Going to Billund. This is KLM flight 1293. The PH NXF. November X-ray Foxtrot. 3 years old. First flight October 2021. I also see a quad-engined contrail right here in the vicinity, passing just south of me. Looks like a 747-400. Though which carrier I find a bit hard to see. Doesn't look like Lufty. Old livery, but then again it might be it. You guys tell me. This is Air Baltic flight 618 to Riga. Bombardier C-Series 300 A220 Yankee Lima Alpha Bravo India is the registration. It is 3 years old, first flight May 2022. And after that we are going to see KLM flight 601 to LAX, unless there is another Air Baltic going flight Cheaters Lane. But I don't think, well, it is coming to Cheaters Lane. Are they going to let Air Baltic number 2 also take off before the already lined up KLM flight 601? What will happen next here? Well, give it a few moments. Gives me a moment to scroll up. First of all, a good morning and massive big thank you to Captain Jerry Donnelly for your super chat. He says, Spottersplek Polderbaan, hete vrouwen en jets. Well, I haven't seen any hot women here yet, but you never know what may show up later in the morning. Jerome, good morning, good to see you again. Thank you for the support and good to have you again. Hope all is well. Also, a massive big thank you to Laura, who just now gifted 5 memberships. Laura, thank you so much for your generosity. Welcome to the Skyline's new members. If you are one of the recipients of Laura's gifted memberships, don't forget to say thank you. Don't forget to use the custom emojis that you now have at your disposal for a month. Don't forget to vote for the custom emoji election either. Laura, dankjewel. Thank you so much. And welcome to the Skyline's new members. This is KLM flight 601. A 787-10 Dreamliner on its way to LAX. So, contra remnants galore in the sky. James Mail says, Canadian CC-130J about to go over you to the north. I do think I hear something. From where to where is it flying? Because I'm not seeing anything producing a control immediately overhead. So I'm not exactly sure. I thought I heard something, but I'm not seeing anything producing a contrail. So I'm not sure exactly what I heard. Frank, good morning. Patrick, goedemorgen. Kevin, goedemorgen. Bevroren patat, goedemorgen. Our next departure is jet flight 22922. Going to Bristol. And I wonder if this is the airplane that is having Curtis's mom on board. You still there, mate? Is this the flight? It probably is, isn't it? Ah, it is. Well, there you go. You can see your mom is on the way, safe and sound, on their way to Bristol. We have another cheater in Cheater's Lane. And looks like it's not going to be the only cheater. Is that a Dreamliner in Cheater's Lane? That's something you don't see every day. Right, Air Baltic is coming this way, going to Vilnius, flight 962. And KLM flight 661 to Houston in Texas is in Cheater's Lane. That's the Dreamliner that we saw. Something that you don't see every day. KLM widebody preceding a KLM widebody. Or, no, KLM widebody preceding Delta. That's what I think is going to happen. I think that the two KLM widebodies will leave first and second. Then the Americans. It's a waiting tariff. This is KLM flight 743. It's leaving for Lima in Peru, and that's right on the same continent as Ecuador. You're goddamn right. This is a 777-300ER. The PHBVC Bravo Victor Charlie. 15 years old, first flight May 2009. Or is no, BA is queuing up behind the Delta, so it's not like Delta is having an issue. This is KLM flight 661 going to Houston in Texas. It's a 787-10 Dreamliner. It's the Papa Hotel Bravo Kilo Foxtrot 5-year-old airplane. First flight December 2019. So, for those of you joining us later, welcome to the show. You're watching Amos Live. My name is Boy, and we're standing at the Polderbaan. We're now seeing and filming departures, and in half an hour from now, this runway is going to be used in the opposite direction for arrivals. It's an interesting runway configuration today. The primary runway today is runway 09. The primary runway for arrivals today is 06. And Polderbaan is used in both directions, not simultaneously, but after one another, as secondary runway for both inbound and outbound traffic. So right now it is serving as a secondary runway during the outbound rush hour as 36 left. From 11 until 11:40 it is expected to be used as 18 right and as secondary runway for arrivals. If we're lucky, we might get to see a couple of 747s and the A380 because of this runway configuration. If all is well, the first 747 should be arriving around 11:15, I think. Cathay Pacific, cargo 7478. In the meantime, a very good morning to all who have joined. Midvi, good morning. Kevin, goedemorgen. Mats, goedemorgen, good morning. Paul, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody. So yeah, it looks like after this A319 will have taken off, we have another break to have another look at the traffic and the expected runway use. Although there are two A330s coming this way already, and the A340 was also expected later. The firefighters already have returned to their station and apparently today did a lap around a different block than the Polderbaan. This is BA flight 429 to London Heathrow. It's an A319. Spooling up now. KLM flight 787 to St. Maarten is going to be next. It's already arriving, so said we'll have a few moments to have a look at the traffic and whatnot, but still have to hurry up a little. But that's okay. We'll make it. Michael DCA also back in the chat. Good morning, sir. Wind on the scale of chimney smoke. Barely any to speak of. A quick look at the weather and a refresh of the ticker of the meter will tell us that it's 1 degree warmer now. The wind is blowing from the northeast, 9 knots. It's still okay. Not much has changed in that respect. Current runway use is like so. And later I'm expecting this runway to flip and become red and will be used for inbound between 11 and 11:40, and then between 11:40 and 1 o'clock. Once again, this same configuration. This will not change, this will not change. It's this runway that is constantly going to change direction. Cathay Pacific is approaching its ETA is 11:12, and when it enters Dutch airspace, I will be very curious to learn from you guys if you check which runway it will be assigned to. In the meantime, let's quickly go over to the camera once again because the next airplane taking off is coming. It is an A330-200. It is KLM flight 787 to St. Maarten. Hadi Mike, goedemorgen. Don Viejos, goedemorgen. BMX Jesse, goedemorgen. Hadi Roy, goedemorgen. A little bit of clipping. Well, in that case, let's lower the ambient a millimeter. Thanks for letting me know there, Wolfgang. So, yeah. Let me quickly paste the meter in the ticker. Copied it, but I didn't have a chance to paste it in the ticker yet. Doing that right now. Then it is quickly back to the camera controls. So, for those of you joining us later, welcome to the show. Again, this is the Polderbaan, now in use for outbound traffic. Between 11 and 11:40 expected as secondary runway for inbound traffic. So today the Polderbaan, which normally is a primary runway and usually used in a dominant direction unless the wind direction changes, now serves as a secondary runway. This is Delta Airlines Flight 143 to Seattle, Washington. A330-300 on its way. November 804, November Whiskey, the registration, 21 years old, first flight September 2003. So what that means is from 11 until 11:40 this runway will be used in the opposite direction for arrivals. Means that we might get to see Cathay Pacific, which is flying into the Netherlands. Orange Pride is also going to fly to Johannesburg, South Africa, but that's going to take 09. Atlas Air is expected between 1 and 2 at the moment, where 2 runways for arrivals will be open. So the Polderbaan is open. Whether or not it is actually going to land here remains to be seen. It could also go to the Kaagbaan, of course. Same can be said for the Emirates A380, which is still expected past 1 o'clock, and that's good for us because if it arrives before 1 o'clock, then it will certainly go to the Kaagbaan because that will only be open by then. So yeah, it is a very interesting day. Runway configuration not typical. It still has to do with the temporary closure of the Aalsmeerbaan, aka runway 18 left 36 right. It's yearly maintenance, closed between the 5th and the 10th. So in a couple of days from now, well, I say tomorrow maybe, or the day after, it's the 9th, right? So not sure if it is still closed. If it is still closed tomorrow or until today. Thought they said up to and including, so I expect maybe somewhere later in the day that the Aalsmeerbaan is going to reopen again. But this is the reason that we now have temporary different runway use. It is KVK. As you guys can see, this is a KVK day which usually people, when they hear KVK and know what it means, think of blue skies all over. Just some control remnants and some cirrus clouds looking to the north. The wind is blowing from the northeast and is more or less coming from the direction of the chimney scale chimneys. Looking to the east, things look very calm in the sky at least, and also looking to the south, similar. We have an airplane that is arriving via Cheaters Lane, interestingly, even though there's no traffic that it needs to skip ahead of. Oh, and an ITA Bombardier C-Series passing by overhead. Not the best lighting, but still a beautiful airplane. Instantly recognizable by the dark shade of blue. This is KLM Flight 1753 to Hamburg. It's a 737-700. And in the background, briefly visible, KLM Flight 615, which will be leaving for Captain Jerry's hometown of Portland in Oregon. That's a 7879 Dreamliner. So yeah, whether or not Cathay Pacific cargo will land here remains to be seen. But last couple of times, whenever both the Kaagbaan and the Polderbaan were open for arrivals, back then, usually everything coming from the east would go to the Polderbaan. So I'm cautiously hopeful that we might get to see the Cathay Pacific A350, 747. It's the 747. This is KLM Flight 615, which will be leaving for Portland, Oregon, going to Jerry. It's a 7879 Dreamliner. Spooling up now, the PHBHP, Bravo Hotel Papa, 6 years old, first flight August 2018. Now full as well, the Suriname Airways A340 should also be coming this way pretty soon. Hadi Paul, goedemorgen. Ray, good morning. Ray asks, duck update. Well, right now I think Donald and his mate are the only ducks available, and well, at least one of them is sitting over there. Not sure about the other. There's also a vehicle coming this way. That's a VW from BAM. No other birds in the water, no other aquatic birds in the water over here. Are there any further south? Maybe. Yeah, it does look like there's also a bird sitting over there. Those birds like to sit on those concrete units. Hey, well, there you go. I think Donald and his mate are over there, and it might be another cousin over there then. Where's Daisy and the gals? They've gone. Have they gone shopping or something? Or are they the ones who are now working? They're at work while the hubbies are at home taking care of household chores. Hadi Stefano, goedemorgen. Jero, good morning. Ben ik al in gebruik, goedemorgen. Vliegtuigspotters Nederland, goedemorgen. Robert Hilton, good morning. I am all good for one. Hope you are too. Jerry asks, what is the NATO meeting going on in AMS? Yeah, good question. It's a periodic disturbance of society where severe traffic measures have to be taken. People are summoned to work from home for a week, and world leaders try to make grasp of the current world order. So, yeah. This is SAS Flight 552 going to Copenhagen. It's an A320neo, and after this we are going to see KLM's cousin, the A321neo, which will be flying to London Heathrow as Flight 1005. Korean Characters says, hi, good afternoon in Seoul. Good afternoon to you too. Welcome to the channel. Nice of you to say hi. Already saw you yesterday as well. Welcome to the show, one and all. Don't be afraid to say hi in the chat if you're new to the channel, or if you're not so new to the channel anymore. It's not mandatory, but it is always appreciated. Many people are watching. Most of them are friendly. All can answer questions in a silly way. So I challenge you to challenge our audience. This is KLM Flight 1005 to London Heathrow. It's an A321neo. Don't forget to boost the algorithm if you are a fan of the channel. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Allegedly that works. It is also said that it works to drop comments in the comment section below a video. Not sure that it does, but there you go. Right, so it is 10:47. How many more airplanes outbound are coming this way? That is the question. Second time watching my live. I thought so. I thought I saw you yesterday as well already. What is your name? And Jeff, greetings. Tim, goedemorgen. Neil, good morning. Raphael needs to go. Thank you for joining us. Raphael, enjoy the rest of your day. I think they're preparing the runway for arrivals. I think they're preparing for arrivals. Malky says, my eldest flies to Seoul in August to start their third year of their Korean language university degree. Wow. That is amazing. And the Korean characters mean sympathetic carp. Well, I'm sympathetic to sympathetic animals, so that sounds like a terrific name. And let's see. I have a suspicion that they're already prepping for a runway change. Is KLM flight 1902 arriving from Vienna going to be landing here on the Polderbaan? I wonder. I think it might be. I actually think we have to start looking this way now. That also means I have to relocate my zoom control, attach it to a different tripod leg, because otherwise it'll be unergonomical. Let's quickly detach it so that I can also reroute the wire. Oh yeah, of course, cue the music. How could I forget? Apologies. Yeah, KLM flight 1902, arriving from Vienna. It's going to be the first airplane landing here. So I've reattached my zoom control to the leg next to the tripod leg it was originally attached to. And click the remote back into the camera and test. Yep, it works. Perfect. That also gives me a quick time to quickly sip a few sips of vodka. If you just joined us, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. The first batch of departures is now over. And we are prepping for arrivals. Runway 36 left is no longer open. Runway 18 right is about to open. KLM flight 1902 arriving from Vienna is the first airplane coming this way. Right. Here it is. It's our first arrival. So, I'm also hearing a siren. It's an emergency vehicle, but where is it? Must be on the A9 highway or something. Not seeing anything in the immediate vicinity. Here is our first arrival. From approximately 11 until approximately 11:40, normally speaking, there are 2 runways open for arrivals. Not exactly sure, since it is already 8 minutes to 11, if this configuration is going to last until 11:40 or maybe will end a bit sooner. It is a day where the Polderbaan is being used in both directions, not simultaneously. And this is the first inbound rush hour of the show. We began with an outbound peak. Polderbaan used as secondary runway for outbound traffic as 36 left. Now it is used for arrivals at 18 right, together with the Kaagbaan. Dukman asks if I play any music instruments. I don't. I've played guitar for a couple of years when I was in middle school, but that is years ago. Don't have any musical instruments in my house anymore. So the wait music will have to be played through a recording, not by me in live. So yeah, welcome to the show, everybody. Jackie, goedemorgen. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. And are we still experiencing Cavoke? There are few friendly clouds here. Also a bit further to the east to southeast, more is visible. Right, so traffic from the east now seems to be directed this way. That bodes well for our likelihood, for our chances of being able to see the Cathay Pacific 7478. I think there is a reasonable likelihood that we are going to see it. We are now going to see UR Airlines from BH Air operating between Erbil in Iraq and Amsterdam in the Netherlands. Still at a pretty decent distance. Somewhere in the background from the right should also be an Embraer 190 turning in. I am unsure how high the camera needs to point. I think it's probably going to be a bit lower. It's always hard to estimate where things are in the sky. Ah, there it is. Now, how does that compare with the number 1? A bit lower then. A bit lower. So these are all still pretty far away, these airplanes. We're already pretty far in digital zoom here. This is the maximum 400 times. Yeah, I'm surprised it's not all pixels. So this is UB Airlines on the right, gear extending, arriving from Erbil in Iraq, and KLM flight 1662 arriving from Bologna, that is flying behind it. Also going to appear from the right in a few moments is going to be a KLM 787-10 Dreamliner, KLM flight 872 arriving from Delhi in India. On paper we ought to be able to see that quite well, since it is rather big, but ah yeah, there it is. Glide slope formation in the making. Ballet in the sky. This is about the top end of the optical zoom of my camera. Zooming in further, and it will be digital zoom. Cathay Pacific to Polderbaan, that's good news, Marja. First Queen confirmed to come to the runway we are filming next to. Redison guy says now would be the perfect opportunity to use the max zoom emoticon. Super zoom, I think the suggestion was. Yeah. Quite a few suggestions for custom emoji number 32. 6 of them have survived the first round and the second round is now open. 2 polls. Cast your vote if you haven't already. There are 6 suggestions. Lufty being one of them. Super zoom being another. The 2 winners will fight it out head to head in a third round poll, which is going to begin on Tuesday. Hey there, Freddy. Adrie, goedemorgen, good morning. Hadi Gerrit, goedemorgen. Malky says, Lufty 747 passing northwest to southeast to your north at 37k shortly. I think I have it, mate. Thanks for the heads up. Also, nicely in time. This is the Lufty 747 that Malky was referring to, I think. Almost certainly has to be because there's no other quad-engined airplane producing a control. It's still a bit far. Should be able to see it either before or after the Dreamliner's landing. Thanks for the heads up once again, Malky. And also, please take notice, Malky telling me where I need to look, from where to where it is going to pass. Very informative. If you want me to have a look at something passing overhead, it's very useful for me to know where it is going, where it is coming from, and where it is in my sky. Willem Jelle, goedemorgen. Laller Pilot, good to see you, Olaf. Think we will have to have a look before the KLM Dreamliner is touching on the ground. Now the lighting is still good. You can see it is Lufty in the old livery, the yellow logo. Bit breezy. Think I am going to enable image stabilizer quickly as well, just to make things a bit more smooth, hopefully. See how that works. Also for future contrails. This is KLM flight 872 arriving from Delhi in India. It's a 787-10 Dreamliner, 9 hours and 27 minutes on the way. Registration PHBKL, Papa Hotel Bravo Kilo Lima. 2-year-old airplane, first flight June 2022. In the meantime, a very good morning to Paper Chase and a warm welcome to Paper Chase as well. Paper Chase just now became our latest Aurora Sky Lounge member. Welcome to the lounge. Hope things are to your liking in the Aurora Sky Lounge. Don't forget, you have 32 custom emojis at your disposal now. Use them however you see fit. Spamming is not allowed, but custom emoji use is very much stimulated. Don't forget to use those custom emojis. Paper Chase, thank you for your vote of confidence. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Jan, goedemorgen. And welcome to the others who have joined in the meantime. So, let's see. SAS A319 is next to land here. And oh, a twin jet is passing by in the opposite direction. What's this? Triple seven of sorts, if I had to guess. Alright, over here now, this is SAS flight 1547. It's an A319 arriving from Copenhagen. Ah, Ethiopian passing overhead. 777 freighter, East Midlands to Nottingham. Oh, to East Midlands, Nottingham. I was about to say, huh? East Midlands to Nottingham. Why is it flying over the Netherlands then? Now, this is an A319 with its bank rubber look, trying to act as if it is a Neo, but it isn't. Oi! Oi, mate! We see right through you. Next airplane is still pretty far away. It is a narrow body from Transavia arriving from Verona, 737-800, as there almost all are still. Transavia flight 5466 is arriving from Verona in Italy. Flight time 1 hour and 25 minutes. PHHZN is the registration. Hotel Zulu November. 21 years old. First flight March 2004. It's actually teeming with airplanes passing overhead, contrails left and right. Here, 3 airplanes in one shot. Here, another one. Lovely to see. Few friendly clouds further land inward. This is looking to the east, the southeast, but also here in the vicinity. So I think if we check the METAR once again, it's probably no longer K because the lower 5,000 feet now contain few clouds. Hey Ewald, good morning and welcome to the show. All others who have joined. Derek, goedemorgen. For those of you who just now joined us, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We're standing at the Polderbaan, which you guys probably already knew. Polderbaan today is being used as secondary runway for inbound and outbound, and that is something you don't see every day. We started the show with departures. Now we're doing a batch of arrivals, and I think in half an hour or so from now we're going back to departures again until 1 o'clock, and then between 1 and 2 once again arrivals. Moderate use, mild use of the reversers there. It looks as if there is a truck on the runway from the bird control, but it's just the solar reflection on glass or solar panel or something. Runway 06 is the primary runway for inbound traffic today. Runway 09 is the primary runway for outbound traffic today. And Polderbaan is the secondary runway for both. Is it still K? That's the question. Let's have a quick look on the map and on the meter in a moment. So Cathay Pacific is going to land here on the Polderbaan. It's already on the downwind leg and is going to land here in a matter of minutes. Saudia is probably going to get away and is landing on 06 probably because the Polderbaan will be closed by then. Emirates, now this is a day where we want it to arrive after 1 o'clock. So as long as it is past 1 o'clock, and that also, well, no, yeah, to a lesser degree that also goes for this airplane. We want to see them arrive later. Yeah, let's see if we can see the 747 already. It is flying in the vicinity of Purmerend, and I always keep forgetting, was it the scale of chimney smoke or was it the sugar factory? I think it was the sugar factory that was in line with Purmerend. No, it was the scale of chimney smoke. Here we have the Cathay Pacific Cargo 7478. Now flying north of Purmerend, and let's zoom out. Yeah, it was indeed the scale of chimney smoke, right. Here it is. First queen of the show. We'll be landing on the runway we are standing next to in a few minutes. And the A340 took cheater's lane and took off from 09. Ah, bugger. Yeah, we never did get to see it here, did we? It was assigned to the Polderbaan initially, but it got delayed, and that's always a risk. It's a risk that also sometimes works in our favor. It has to be said, we've also seen 747s take off from Polderbaan that initially were assigned to the center runway. Meanwhile, this is Austrian, Air Baltic flying on behalf of Austrian, arriving from Vienna. Austrian flight 379. There you go. Next airplane coming in, EasyJet, arriving from Venice, A320neo. And the airplane that you see behind it turning in is the number 3. There it is. A beautiful piece of airplane ballet. The 747 being number 3, being preceded by 2 narrow bodies. Number 190 arriving from Billund, from KLM, and an EasyJet arriving from Venice. Right. What a sight to behold. Gear on the 747 is extending. And if you guys have been enjoying the stream thus far and you haven't already, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to stay informed of upcoming live streams and also if you want to support the channel in a free manner. Mike S, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody else who have joined. You're watching Amos Live. My name is Boy. This is Cathay Pacific Cargo, arriving from Dubai World Center. Flight 65, a 747-8, 747. Flight time 7 hours and 46 minutes. Embraer 190 landing here right before it. In the meantime, I see that Barak is also back in the chat and is celebrating his 18th birthday. Gefeliciteerd Barak. Happy birthday. Martijn, NVT, goedemorgen. Teun, goedemorgen. All the others who have joined in the meantime, good morning. So, today is a day where the polderbaan is being used for inbound traffic and for outbound traffic. Right now, it's used for inbound traffic, and pretty soon, once again, departures will take place from this runway. First up, Cathay Pacific Cargo. Gotta love the spool down of those reversers. Magnificent. Her Majesty has arrived, and if we are lucky we are going to see another Queen at least, and also the Emirates A380 if we are a bit lucky. Depends on their ETAs first and foremost, because once their ETAs will be before 1 o'clock, our chances drop to near zero. If their ETAs remain between 1 and 2 p.m., then we should see, well, there's a chance that we are going to see them. Maybe not the 747, maybe the 747 will be assigned to the Kaagbaan, but everything arriving from the east, at least during this inbound rush hour, we see has been assigned to the polderbaan. So that makes me cautiously hopeful that come the arrival of the A380, it will be assigned to the right runway. We'll see, we'll see. As the Cathay Queen is slowly making her way over to the cargo apron, the next approaching airplane is about to land. This is Air Oink Oink. It's an A321neo, flight 1251, arriving from Istanbul. 3 hours and 5 minutes on the way. That's a nominal flight duration. Istanbul, Amsterdam usually averages around 3 hours. This is a new airplane, relatively speaking, a year old, 1st flight November 2023. Hey, stranger also in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Daan, goedemorgen. And a warm welcome to everybody who has joined us in the meantime. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. Cathay Pacific Cargo 7478 just now landed. And it is a day with runway use that isn't very ordinary. Usually the Polderbaan, being a preferred runway, is always used in one direction unless the wind changes. Now today, with the closure still of runway 18 left, 36 right, aka the Aalsmeerbaan, we're still seeing different runway use. Runway 09 is the primary runway for outbound traffic. Runway 06 is the primary runway for inbound traffic. And the Polderbaan is secondary runway for both. We started the show with departures from the Polderbaan from runway 36 left. And now we are seeing arrivals on 18 right. Around 11:40 or so, we're probably going back to departures from the Polderbaan until 1 o'clock, and then between 1 and 2 once again arrivals. So yeah, makes for interesting streaming. Next airplane to arrive, Transavia flight 5794, arriving from Preveza, 2 hours and nearly 40 minutes on their way. 26 years old already, this airplane. It's a millennial. First flight was in April 1999. Alan is leaving. It's piss-off time for him. Enjoy, mate. Thanks for stopping by and enjoy the rest of your day. Hope to see you again. Hopefully tomorrow or otherwise later in the weekend. Ari is also back in the chat. Ohio gozaimasu. Welcome back. Good to have you again. Scientress, good morning. And Marcel, goedemorgen. Welcome to the show, everybody. This is KLM flight 1216. It is an Embraer 190 coming in from Stockholm. Flight time 1 hour and 29 minutes. 15-year-old airplane, first flight July 2009. Now also friendly clouds in the background to the north. So I'm pretty sure it's no longer Cavoquet if we wait for the next METAR, which is expected to be released in about 5 minutes from now. Hey, Paul is also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Hope all is well. Singapore A350 just now taking off from 09, the primary runway for outbound traffic. Another one getting away from us. Bastards. First officer was throwing a wave. So it's only decent to reciprocate, return the favor. So yeah, for those of you joining us just now, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. Obviously, we're at the Polderbaan. Polderbaan is used as secondary runway for everything today. We started the show with departures. Now we are seeing arrivals and dives from Gary Grebe. We are pretty soon going to see departures once again taking place from this runway until approximately 1 o'clock. And then once again arrivals between 1 and 2 o'clock. That has the potential to bode well for our chances of seeing the A380. We saw and have been seeing just now that everything arriving from the east will be assigned to the Polderbaan if both Polderbaan and Kagbaan are open. It might mean that the Atlas Air arriving from Miami and which is also expected shortly after 1 p.m. might go to the wrong runway. It might go to the Kagbaan. Roy asks, what are the odds of me streaming at the Polderbaan tomorrow? I would say slim to none. I'm trying to switch things up, and since the wind isn't changing, I have to change locations if I want to see different runway use. So my plan is to go to the Kaagbaan tomorrow. Go to the Kaagbaan tomorrow and then probably on Sunday back to the Polderbaan maybe. Paul Faircloth also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. We have a 777. Hey, that's interesting. KLM flight 682 is arriving from Vancouver. Okay. I thought that they were going to assign all the airplanes coming in from the west to the Kaagbaan. So apparently they're not doing that with all of them. This is Anadolu Jet, arriving from Istanbul, MAX 8737. Istanbul, Amsterdam usually averages around 3 hours. This is 3 hours and 10 minutes on the way, so that's ballpark nominal. Airplane 2 years old, first flight June 2022. You're welcome, Roy. The TC laugh. So big picture wise, what does it look like? Looking to the southeast and to the south at the horizon, things are blue. A bit closer by, we have what looks like a cloud street of some friendly clouds forming. They also seem to be in the same pattern over here, although more dispersed. Wind is coming from the northeast. So I think they are cloud streets actually in the process of being formed. More clearly visible to the south than here and to the north of me. This is KLM flight 682, arriving from Vancouver, Canada. It's a 777-300ER, landing now after 8 hours and 26 minutes of flight. DB Basement also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Lance also back in the chat. Welcome back, mate. So, hey, German Monster. Goedemiddag. Good to see ya. Let's see. American Airlines is outbound. I don't see any. Or, well, what is Delta? No, Delta is going to be assigned to the Kaagbaan, I think. Looking like the way it flies. And KLM flight 1284 arriving from Aalborg, also underway to the Kaagbaan. So I have a suspicion that the airplane now vacating is the last arrival and that we are going to transition back to departures momentarily. It is a day other than other days. Here at the Polderbaan, departures taking place, but also arrivals. The runway we are standing next to is the secondary runway for everything. We began the day with departures. Now we have seen a batch of arrivals, and I think we are going to see another switcheroo, and we'll soon see more departures. The primary runway for outbound traffic today is 09 and the primary runway for inbound traffic is 06. And the Polderbaan is secondary runway for both. Just now in use as 18 right for arrivals and earlier as 36 left for departures. I think we're going to see a switch to 36 left in a few moments from now. Of course, the airplanes that just now landed first have to clear this area, the taxiway between Polderbaan and the main platform area. For a big part is one lane only. So either traffic can go away to the main platform area or they can go towards it, towards the Polderbaan. But they cannot go both ways simultaneously. I think we'll have to wait a few more minutes before we are going to see another departure here, so let's cue the music. And I think I can also start prepping my zoom controller again, set it to the other tripod leg in a moment. Let's first have a look. So Saudia is approaching. It's expected at a moment where only one runway is open. Let's have a look at Bezoek Bas to see the expected runway use. So you can see 06 is being used for arrivals all throughout the day, and 09 is used for departures all throughout the day. And it is the Polderbaan that is being switched between 36 left and 18 right. So on paper this is still the current mode where Polderbaan is used for arrivals as 18 right. And from 11:40 until 1 o'clock we are going to see a switcheroo, and 36 left is going to be used for departures, and then between 1 and 2 once again Polderbaan in use as 18 right. Makes for an interesting switch. So this runway is going to continuously change. This is going to stay the same and this is also going to stay the same. And we're standing over here. So we're going to miss the arrival of Saudia because it's going to go to runway 06. Atlas Air is expected 1:14. We still stand a chance of it landing on our runway. Although I'm not entirely sure. I'm more certain of this as long as the A380 is expected to arrive here after 1 o'clock. That's the most important thing. Today we want it to be late, later than 1 o'clock. Otherwise it's going to go to the Kaagbaan anyway. We had KVK in the METAR before. Is it still KVK? Okay. METAR says it is. The wind has changed a little bit further to the east. 9 knots, 17 degrees C. The temperature, that is about 64 Fahrenheit. So I'm going to paste the new METAR in the ticker. And then let's have a look and see if we can identify the airplanes coming this way for departure pretty soon. Let's see. Jerome asks, can they depart at each end at the same time? You mean use the Polderbaan? Or what are you exactly referring to, Jerry? The taxi lanes to and from the Polderbaan? Or the Polderbaan itself? Or... Good morning, Breezy. Lars, hallo. Herzlich willkommen. Paulus, guten Morgen. Right, the Turkish or the Anadolu jet is also leaving. That's the last airplane to depart from this platform area. The question then becomes, where are the departures? See that United is underway to Washington. Whether or not it's coming this way, I doubt. It looks like it is on the taxiway to 09 already. Jerry says, depart head on at the same time. I'm not exactly sure that I'm getting what you're trying to say here, Jerry. The taxiway between the Polderbaan and the main platform area for the big part is one lane. So airplanes either can go to the Polderbaan or they have to go from the Polderbaan to the main platform area. They cannot go simultaneously in both directions. So as arrivals still have to vacate this area, there aren't any airplanes leaving that can already come this way and have to wait their turn. So the airplanes that landed here first have to leave this area, and then the next airplanes that will leave from this runway can come over here, which then they first have to do. So there's always a bit of a delay when there's a runway change from the Polderbaan. There's also an inspection of the runway in progress right now. Quad-engined airplane is coming this way. Also interesting that the meter still says it is KVK, even though looking around there are friendly clouds here that I would say are at 5,000 feet or lower. Russell and his mate. Right. Seems that there is a Turkish A350 to Istanbul on its way to 09. Should be nice to see it. Brandon says, pack up and get in the car. This runway is closed. Is that so? It does look to be so. Question is it going to reopen again? That's the question. Right, enough with the music. Dunn says that Delta Airlines Flight 73 will be the first flight. It is still at the gate, isn't it? It's interesting to see that United is also taking off from runway 09 now. United flight 947. It's interesting to see that JetBlue to Boston is taxiing using the scenic route. Seems to be taxiing alongside the Kaagbaan now towards the southwest. Paul says Delta A350 to 36 left. Yeah, but it's still at the gate, isn't it? Hasn't even been pushed back yet. Then it has to come this way, so it's probably going to take another 10-20 minutes or so before anything is going to happen here. Wow. Absolutely amazing that they can go without 2 runways for such a long time. Turkish Flight 1952 has been standing still for a while now. Wonder what's wrong with it. I'm also curious to see where JetBlue Flight 632 is going to. It's going to Boston. And it is actually taking the scenic route by the looks of it. Interesting to see that the LVNL website is still indicating that their Polderbaan is still closed. Nowhere on the Bezoekbus website does it indicate that the Polderbaan is going to be temporarily closed. There are no alternative scenarios where they are speaking of a temporary closure of this runway. So I'm still hopeful that they are going to open up this runway. JetBlue seems to be coming this way, although it is taking the scenic route. In the meantime, arrivals to the Polderbaan still flying overhead here. Where did it go? There it is. That looks like the Peter Pan. Or is it? So in the meantime, things relatively calm over here. We have some people here. Also still somebody seated on the bench north of me. And a strip of low clouds north of me. Looks like another quad squad member is coming this way. On its way from maybe Frankfurt? Police helicopter as well, coming this way. No, that's the Lifeliner, isn't it? Yeah, it is the yellow Lifeliner. Back to its station, which is in the port area of Amsterdam. Now, do start seeing some movement here. JetBlue is slowly but surely coming this way. By the time these airplanes arrive over here, they're going to close the runway again and start using it as secondary runway for arrivals. Bloody hell. Crazy that it can go on for such a long time. In the meantime, overhead traffic looks like a 747, insofar as I can see from over here. Still flying in the wrong side of the sky, very close by the sun, so it's hard to make out any details. although it is a Lufty Boeing 747-8 to LAX according to Duns. In the meantime, JetBlue flight 632 to Boston, Massachusetts, an A321neo is traversing the center runway as we speak. It should be coming this way and should become visible pretty soon. Let's have another look at that quad-engined Lufty. Now, having passed me by with the sun in the on the opposite side in the sky, we should have a lot more contrast. Yes, there we go. Now we can also make out the logo. It's the old logo. Oh, the wind isn't helping. Even though ever since I've started using the blimp for the ambient audio, you're not hearing wind rumble as much anymore. There's definitely wind here. That's affecting my ability to follow on long distances accurately. JetBlue is finally coming this way, reminding me that I also need to realign my zoom remote. So let me do that right away. The long period of nothing happening here almost made me forget I still needed to do that. And if all is well, departures should take place until approximately 1 o'clock. Hopefully the runway change will be effectuated in time for us to see the Emirates A380, which is still expected shortly past 1 p.m. More contrails in the sky, one over there, one over there, one over there as well. It's one of those days where everything passing by overhead produces a contrail seemingly. So after nearly 20 minutes of waiting, here we go. JetBlue flight 632 to Boston. An incredible long wait. Our patience is being tested. I am actually surprised we are still at 600 viewers, even though we had more than 700 earlier. There are times where Schiphol is teeming with activity, and there are moments where it looks like it is a regional airport where nothing ever happens, particularly when you're standing here. I like the polderbaan for crosswind arrivals when the wind is blowing from the west. Otherwise, it is a dull place. Gives a very regional feeling. I like apron action. Gives viewers who don't know Schiphol also the idea that they're actually looking at an international airport. Which, if you tuned in the last 20 minutes, you might be struggling to believe. So yeah, here we go. Let me see if I can still do this. Follow airplanes and tell information about them. JetBlue flight 632 to Boston, Massachusetts. Coming this way, it's an A321neo, 2 years old. First flight June 2022, almost turning 3. It's the November 4062 Juliet. Is that Emirates? Could be. Hard to see the details in the tail. And there is also a twin jet that just now passed me by. That's Delta. It says so on the tin. Now, what is going on? It is another airplane. It is a 737-900 going to Bergen. All interesting airplanes, 737s and whatnot. Luckily there is also movement on the platform, but Delta Airlines flight 243 to Boston seems to be queuing up for runway 09. Vasaro Darshine asks, do you like also small planes? Well, I do, as long as it's not too many constantly after one another. I'm thrilled to see that Delta Airlines Flight 243 is actually continuing. It is actually continuing this way. Sarah also back in the chat. Brandon also back in the chat. Aviation Gaza back in the chat. Good to see you all. So yeah, finally some action back here at Schiphol Airport after what must have been the 20 most boring minutes of the stream. Today the Polderbaan is used as secondary runway for both inbound traffic and outbound traffic, and that means that we have to wait in between runway switches. Last switch was very time consuming for some reason. We began the stream with departures. We just now saw a batch of arrivals. Now we're back to departures until approximately 1 p.m. And then once again this runway is going to be used for arrivals. If all is well, I'm saying it very cautiously, we might get to see the A380 landing here later. But I'm not going to get my hopes up too high just yet. Two requirements. First of all, the A380 has to land after 1 o'clock. Otherwise, it's going to go to the Kaagbaan, runway 06. Second requirement is that they are still going to have to do the same as what they did just now when this runway was open for arrivals. And that is to let planes coming in from the east land on this runway and not send them to the Kaagbaan. Okay, so 2 airplanes. I feel like we've been warmed up again and we're ready for more. Looking on flight radar, we are going to see more. Delta Airlines Flight 243 leaving for Boston is now at the point of traversing the center runway. KLM Cargo 747 assigned to depart from 09. Of course it is, of course it is. Well, I'm trying my best to see what is also happening at the threshold of 09, but I cannot guarantee that I can see everything. So if the KLM 747 is about to line up, please give me a heads up in the chat, just in case I might not have seen it. I'm going to drink me some vodka to quench my sorrows, to quench my thirst, and to drink my sorrows away. Such a shame about the garage. Was such a good spot to see action. JetBlue has just now departed to Boston and Delta will follow it. There it is, Delta Airlines flight 243. The heat wave distortion makes it a bit hard to see, but there's a KLM Embraer 190 to Aberdeen behind it. Those are the next two airplanes coming this way. It looks like United to Chicago is also on the move, coming this way. Gary Grebe, the mother ducker, is also over here. Gary Grebe being one of the 6 contenders for the 30-second custom emoji. Lufty also one of them. Super Zoom as well. What a beautiful bird. And here we have Delta Airlines. It's going to make its way over to the runway threshold. The question is, what will the narrow body behind it do? I've got a hunch that it is going to take off from Cheater's Lane. Yep, as expected, KLM on its way to Cheater's Lane, taking off before Delta will. KLM Embraer 190 to Aberdeen, flight 915. PHEXE, Fexi, 9 years old, first flight November 2015. Will he do a turn and burn, is the question. Hey, and that's Harry the Heron, all the way over there, by the looks of it. Or am I now just hallucinating and is the vodka getting to me? And Saudi 747 overhead, indeed. Time to break off this takeoff and have a look at it. It's going to the wrong runway, but it is still flying overhead right now. Saudi Cargo arriving from Jeddah. It's going to land on runway 06 pretty soon. For those of you joining us later, welcome to the show. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy and we are standing at the Polderbaan, which is secondary runway for both inbound and outbound traffic, though not simultaneously. The primary runway for outbound traffic is 09, the primary runway for inbound traffic is 06, and the Polderbaan acts as secondary runway for both. Whenever there's an inbound peak, it is used for inbound. Whenever there's an outbound peak, it is used for outbound. Right now there's an outbound peak going on, so runway 36 left is open. And later between 1 and 2 we are expecting a runway switch. This runway will once again host arrivals as 18 right. This is Delta Airlines flight 243 going to Boston, Massachusetts. It's an A330neo. A330neo, brand new. First flight was in October last year. What's Russell doing there? Nibble, nibble. United flight 908. What is up with it? It's standing there. Doesn't seem to be moving. It's being overtaken by BA. And pretty soon it also is going to be overtaken by KLM. Is anybody listening in on ATC? Is anybody? Does anybody know what has happened there? Klaas has to go back to work. See you later, mate. Thanks for stopping by. Okay. Looks like it wasn't something substantial. Next airplane, BA flight 431 to London Heathrow, an A320. Seemingly doing a turn and burn. It is a 14-year-old specimen. First flight was in December 2010. After that we are going to see an E2 Embraer 195, or are we? Still not sure what... No, wait. Yeah. United is coming this way. So yeah, another 50 minutes or so of departures, or at least on paper, from this runway. How many more we are going to see in the upcoming hour remains to be seen. Right now it does look like we are seeing another trickle of airplanes. I also see that the KLM 747 is in the vicinity of 09. This is KLM flight 1139, which is going to Dublin, Ireland. E2 Embraer 195. Yeah, I've got my eyes on the 747, guys. Thanks for the heads up. It's probably going to take off and rotate somewhere over there. The earlier 747 did that as well. Right, it is on the move. Where is it going to appear? That's the question. We have our answer. In the meantime, United Flight 908 to Chicago is also spooling up here. Let's see if we can transition into that as well. Gary also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Welcome back. United Flight 908 to Chicago O'Hare. And a lovely streak of clouds there that is making a nice backdrop against which these airplanes climb out. Twin jets overhead, and I think that is the 747 arriving, isn't it? Yeah, that's the Saudia 747. Last few meters before touching down on runway 06. Hey there, Ryan. Good to see ya. Welcome to all others who have joined. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. We are standing at the Polderbaan, now in use for departures once again. Earlier it was used for arrivals, and before that it was also used for departures. It's a day where today the Polderbaan is being used as secondary runway for everything, both inbound and outbound traffic, though not at the same time, of course, one after the other. This is number 190 to Oslo, KLM flight 1201. Now, once again, we have to wait a bit. Right, Qatar Cargo. All the interesting departures going from other runways, all the interesting arrivals taking place on other runways. I thought it might be an interesting day here, but I actually turned out to have been wrong. Maybe there's a silver lining with the A380 later. Right now, there's an Embraer 175 to Gdansk coming this way. And that seems to be it for the time being. No, wait, there is more coming. 2V737. KLM 737. All narrow bodies as well. Well, there you go. Regional Airport, Schiphol Airport. Let's have a quick look and see what the ETAs of the quad-engined airplanes underway to Schiphol are and what they have become. So Saudia already landed. Atlas Air arriving from Miami is now expected 20 minutes past 1. The Emirates A380 still a couple of minutes past 1 o'clock. Last time the Polderbaan was used for arrivals, everything from the east was landing on the Polderbaan. That is the only silver lining, that if they are going to do the same, we are going to see the A380 land on this runway. If the wind doesn't change too significantly, which seemingly it doesn't, though you have to bear in mind that the airplanes landing on this runway will have a little bit of tailwind actually. That is interesting. It is otherwise still cavalcade. We have 11 knots of wind. It's not completely calm. There is a bit of wind. It's 17 degrees C. I am actually wearing my hoodie over my vest, over my head to keep the neck a bit warm. We do have some airplanes coming this way on ground, but also in the sky. Have a look at this. One airplane, and that looks like it is a small twin jet, is actually coming directly towards me, and looking to pass a bit north of me is another quad squad member. Still on the same side as the sun in my sky, so not very contrasty. I think after this airplane has taken off, we ought to be able to see it on the other side with more detail. KLM Embraer 175. Going to Gdansk. Yeah, it's still on the wrong side in the sky. But since there's nothing happening on ground level, let's just continue following it. Quite clearly a Lufty A340. Now my camera is nearly vertical. And you can see that the airplane has passed me by and the sun is now in the opposite side of the sky. So much more contrast. Although it is actually challenging to film stuff somewhat steadily because of the wind. You're not hearing it because of the blimp, but there's definitely double-digit wind over here. The other airplane is now passing. I thought initially it looked like it was going to pass directly overhead, but now it looks like it is going a bit south of me. Also looks like it is Lufty. In the meantime, two narrow bodies have arrived over here. Top of the morning, Evan. Welcome back, mate. Hope you've been well. KLM to Edinburgh and to LPA. That was Gran Canaria. Yeah, Gran Canaria. 737-800. TUI flight 1641, operated by Go to Sky, 26 years old, first flight September 1998. Wagner also back, bon dia. Reginaldo, good to see you again. Welcome back, one and all. It's a bit of a boring stream here today. I thought it was going to be more interesting than it turned out to be. Today, the Polderbaan where we are standing next to is being used as secondary runway for everything. Inbound and outbound, not simultaneously obviously, but it means a lot of different patterns, inbound and outbound on the same runway in the same stream. On paper should be interesting, in actual practice because of the runway changes and the pauses in between, tedious. Not going to do this again anytime soon. Now luckily the runway configuration will normalize again, if not tomorrow later in the day, then at least from the day after tomorrow. Russell Crowe sitting on the pipe overlooking things, seeing that all is well. And in the meantime we have KLM flight 927 to Edinburgh taking off here. That is a 737-800. The PH BXN, Bravo X-ray, November. "24-year-old airplane, first flight December 2000. Big picture overview. Lots of blue in the sky. Cavalcade still according to the METAR, although we do see some low clouds here and there. Apparently these are higher than 5,000 feet or are too far away from the airport. But looking to the north, there's an individual line of clouds that you can see. A cloud street, as we call them in Dutch, Wolkenstraat, in line with the direction of the wind. The wind is now more or less easterly, blowing to the west, where it is still mostly blue. Some high cirrus clouds, beautiful to see, classical cirrus clouds, and some lower cumulus clouds. Looking to the east, land inward, more clouds. Yesterday we saw the exact opposite, funnily enough. Looking to the south, it's a mixed bag. We also finally have a wide-body airplane over here. This is KLM flight 691, which is leaving for Toronto now. It's an A330-300. Fuck B, PHAKB. 13-year-old airplane, first flight February 2012. Hey there, Fatbike Dutch, and welcome to the show, all others who have joined. EasyJet is lining up. It's going to go to Birmingham. It's an A320neo. After this A320neo to Birmingham will be a KLM Embraer 175 to Inverness, a 737-700 to Billund, I wonder if we are going to see the Finnair A350, if it is assigned to this runway or if it is going to the wrong runway. I've got a suspicion it might be coming this way. Peter PDK also back in the chat, good to see you. Dutch Flight Simmer, good afternoon. I think there is that a Grebe? Coot or a Moorhan? No, that's a Coot. And Russell, spying on me. Gotcha, mate. Hurrah! Oh. The whole murder is going there. Cra, 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 cra. Just one quick glance at me. You know what he's thinking? Oh, a two-legged crow. Let him go. Never mind him. He's crazy and he cannot traverse this canal, so we're safe on this side. Cra, cra. Wind is picking up by the feel of it. Bit gusty every now and then. On the scale of chimney smoke, a lot of horizontality. Russell now also resorting to the concrete peninsula, going to the concrete peninsula of the Coots and the Ducks. This is the KLM 737-700 to Billund, dropping off bills in Billund. Right, so there are two narrow bodies already underway over here, an A319 and an Embraer 190 to Copenhagen and Göteborg respectively. Looking further down towards the main platform area, there's also an Air Canada Dreamliner on the move coming this way. Finnair A350 also coming this way. Bill J back in the chat, good to see you, mate. Hope you've been well. This is an A319 from SAS returning to Copenhagen, and if I recall correctly, this cheater that pretends to be a Neo but isn't, landed here an hour ago or something. So we saw it land on this runway and we can now see it take off again on the same runway. Funnily enough, this is flight 1584, 1548. Yeah, it is the OI KBR, which we saw land here earlier, and now we see it take off via the same runway again. 17-year-old airplane, first flight August 2007. That's the OI KBR. Going back to where it came from. Hey there T-Mac, and hey there all others who have joined. You're watching AMS Live, my name is Boy. We're standing at the Polderbaan, which is used for inbound and outbound traffic as secondary runway today. On paper, a good idea to see. In actuality, a bit tedious because the lengthy runway switches in between runway use. Peter is leaving and is continuing to celebrate his birthday. Fijne dag nog, Peter. En tot de volgende. See you next time. The Emirates A380 is approaching the Netherlands. Last time we checked, its ETA was a few minutes past 1 o'clock. If all is well, between 1 and 2, another runway use change. Polderbaan should be in use again for arrivals. Last time we were here during the arrivals, everything arriving from the east went to this runway. So I'm hopeful that we might get to see the A380 here. If that were to happen, it would mean 2 consecutive days of seeing the A380 land, which during summertime over here is quite rare. Happens almost each time when it arrives here in winter time, because then its ETA lies between 12 and 1, but now in the summertime much more rare. So let's see. Oh, Emirates ETA now 1 minute past 1. Nah, it's probably going to be good. The Atlas Air has an ETA of 1:20. Not sure yet where it is going to go to. Peter asks, will there be big airplanes? These are all small airplanes. No, there will never be a big airplane here ever again. Grant is also back. Kia ora, mate. Hope you've had a good day. This is Air Canada flight 809 going to Toronto. It's a 7878. Oh wait, that's a big airplane. We weren't supposed to see those. Yeah, let's just wait until this airplane has passed. And then we can go back to the Embraers, which is what everybody wants to see here. This airplane is 10 years old. First flight was in January 2015. Yeah, but seriously, we're not supposed to see this. Crazy shit. What I am wondering though is how much more how much longer we are going to see airplanes take off from this runway. If they are going to switch again around 1 o'clock. Anyway, there is still another big airplane coming this way in the background. Now between the main platform area and the Polderbaan runway area. Oh. Bit of an asymmetric retraction of the landing gear, where the right went a little bit faster than the left one. Oh yeah, that's another airplane that we aren't supposed to see here. This is a Finnair A350 going to bloody Helsinki in Finland. I'm happy to report that that seems to be the only big airplane that is coming this way. The rest, where's the other airplane? It's so small. Yeah, there you go. It's so small we can't even see it properly. It's an Embraer 190 to Aalborg. More is coming. More is coming. An A319 and another Embraer 190. Small airplane heaven. It's Schiphol Regional Airport. Hadi Benny, goedemiddag. Tjerk, goedemiddag. Pivi, good afternoon. Wim, goedemiddag. The small airplanes are coming. There's just this ugly big airplane that first needs to take off so that these small airplanes have all the room they need. But then the floor will be all them. All theirs. Wouldn't be surprised if the Embraer 190 were to take Cheater's Lane. Now, I guess I was wrong. It looks like the Embraer 190 is continuing to the threshold and it's going to leave after the A350 has left. Yep, it's definitely going to the threshold and not via Cheater's Lane. First we have to get rid of this hideous chunk of, well, what is it? Composite. Finnair. Finnair A350 going to bloody Helsinki. Bill wonders where the Cessnas are. I thought we all sent them to Seattle. Hadi Rudwig, goedemiddag, good afternoon. Keenan, good afternoon. Indeed, Jimmy, ew, this is a big airplane. They're not supposed to take off from Schiphol. Schiphol is a regional airport with just Embraers only. Hideous that they are letting airplanes like this, that they're allowing them. Finnair, flight 1302, off to bloody Helsinki and good riddance. The OHLWS, 3 years old, first flight October 2021. Good. Now that that is out of the way, the floor is back to the narrow bodies. Here we go. And what a beautiful specimen this is. It is a German Airways Embraer 190 flying on behalf of KLM, going to Aalborg. And this is the airplane that used to have a special livery that we used to know and recognized as Chucky. Now we just call it Dupree. And the Dupree is 17 years old. But is it real? That's the question. It's a bit of a ghostly image. Maria says A380 ETA now 115. That moved up in time rather rapidly. Only a couple of minutes ago it was, what was it, 1 minute past 1? That's interesting. Huh? Steven Seagal also doing a flyby here just now. That street of clouds is still there. It is just a single street by the looks of it. It's a single street, just like Sesame Street. This is an EasyJet A319 to Bristol. This is KLM flight 1177, which is going to leave for Stavanger. The PHEZP, Papa Hotel, Echo Zulu Papa. It is 15 years old. First flight March 2010. Right, it's 12:43, and last time when there was a runway change, it happened a bit before the expected time. In other words, instead of 11 o'clock transitioning to the arrivals, it happened 5 to 10 minutes earlier than that. Since it is now 1:45, I am expecting the last departures from this runway pretty soon. There is a 777-200 to Las Vegas coming this way. And I wonder how many more airplanes are now underway to this runway. KLM KLM flight 735 to Willemstad Curaçao is still coming. Where is TUI flight 393 going to? That's what I wonder. It's going to Bonaire. Might well go and take off from runway 09. If that's the case, then maybe the airplane to Copenhagen and to Curaçao are the last two that are coming this way before they're doing another inspection and are going to use the runway for arrivals. Oh no, the TUI Dreamliner is also coming this way. It already passed by the entrance to the threshold of 09. So that's good. That's coming this way. Means that we are going to see at least 4 more airplanes, including this one. This is KLM flight 635 to Las Vegas. It is a 777-200ER. Registration is the PHBQE, that's Bravo Quebec Echo. It is 21 years old, first flight January 2004. And W already mentions that the A380 has been assigned to the Polderbaan. Marja quickly confirming. That's good news, guys. That means that the A380 at least is going to land over here. A little redemption for the boringness that happened between the previous runway switch. Now, around the time of the arrival of the A380, there are usually a couple of wide bodies that are also arriving from the east. Saudia Dreamliner and whatnot, Turkish. I'm cautiously hopeful that these are all going to land on this runway. So it might actually be worthwhile sticking around for those as well if they happen to be after the A380's arrival. Let's just see how things are going to go down then. It is good news that the A380 has been assigned to this runway at least. Hadi Clementia, goedemiddag. Voel je je alweer oké? Well, define okay. Still am using nasal spray to prevent my nose from being too clogged while talking a lot. If I'm not speaking a lot, then I don't need nasal spray because then my nose stays open. I still have a slight cough every now and then. There's still a little itch in my throat every now and then, but it's no longer what it was earlier in the week, so I'm starting to feel better every day, but I'm not completely symptom free just yet. Martin wonders if we will get 500 likes. It's 482 now, so that probably shouldn't be a problem. Still unsure if those likes really help in any way, shape or form. This is KLM flight 1271 to Copenhagen. It is a 737-800. Hadi Taco, goedemiddag. Graham C, good afternoon. Drew Gambino, goedemiddag. Clemencia has the same. Doctor said to take 6 paracetamol for a few days and take it easy. You can even go as high as 8 paracetamols, 4 times 2 tablets of 500 milligrams. During breakfast, lunch, dinner and before going to bed. But I would only use it as a painkiller and not so much as a way to make any infection go away more rapidly. Doesn't work like that. If you have a fever, it can lower your malaise because it lowers your body temperature a little bit, but that's about it. It is time for a 777-300 This is KLM flight 735 to Willemstad, Curaçao. The PH BVR Bravo Victor Romeo, 8 years old, first flight May 2016. And a TUI Dreamliner to Bonaire after that, which I think might be the last departure here. General malaise. Yeah, general malaise, kernel panic, and major letdown. And Doekman, it's not exactly the first rule of the doctor's handbook, because the doctors would prefer to not even prescribe the pill and just say, give it a few days, come back in 2 weeks if you're still having the same issues. But it's getting close to it, absolutely. Have a paracetamol sandwich and a cup of coffee. Yeah, I sometimes take a painkiller hamburger sandwich and an ibuprofen between two paracetamols if I have a severe headache that doesn't that I cannot nip in the bud. This is TUI flight 393 to Bonaire. It's a 7878 Dreamliner. The PH-TFJ. The airplane is 10 years old, first flight January 2015. That little isolated street of clouds does provide a beautiful backdrop against which these airplanes climb out. I think now, once again, we can cue the wait music because I think we're going to see the runway now starting to be used for arrivals again. Emirates flight 147 is already in Dutch airspace. It is now in the vicinity of Kampen by the looks of it. And it is coming this way. Will it be the first airplane to land here on the Polderbaan? That's the question. Let me also see if I can switch the filter back to inbound. See what else is coming this way. Arkia is also coming this way by the looks of it. Has it been assigned to this runway? Probably has, hasn't it? Right. Well, you know what time it is. Time for me to once again relocate my Zoom remote from one tripod leg to the other. Hadi Klaartje, goedemiddag. That's the zoom remote attached to the other tripod leg. Now reconnected with the camera. Testing, zoom in, zoom out. Seems to be working again. Perfect. Maria says, time to do some shopping. Ground crew and other new merch in the store. Check it out. Yeah. Well, there is a simple free way to support the channel. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. The channel is still relatively small, even though we aren't small any longer, but a lot of audience still to gain. Liking and subscribing is a free and easy way to help promote the channel if you are inclined to think that other people might also enjoy this content. The ducks are swimming. There's 3 of them. Daisy and the gals seem to be gone. Things look calm in the tower. And indeed, Maria, if you are a member, don't forget to vote. You can go into the community section for members. We are running polls to determine which will be the next 30-second custom emoji. 24 suggestions were given in the first round, 6 remained, and these are now competing in round 2 against one another. The 2 winners of the 2 polls that are now running until Tuesday will fight it out head to head. A slew of airplanes is approaching, including the Emirates A380, which is now flying over Markermeer. It's not yet visible, but I am already looking to see if maybe the airplanes preceding it can be seen. Bit hard to see. So big picture wise, looking to the north, this is what things look like. Looking to the west, it looks like so. The east currently looks like this. And now most of the cloudiness seems to be in the south. Here and there an isolated cloud right now, casting a temporary shade over where I'm standing. According to Flight Radar, the first airplane is turning in and is approaching from the east. E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Billund. I think I have it. Needed to look on my camera screen, on my laptop screen to see it initially. This is KLM flight 1294 arriving from Billund. E2 Embraer 195. And Jay Krijger, thank you so much for your PayPal donation just now. I received notification of it. Thank you so much, Jay Krijger. Hope you are still in the chat to hear me say thank you. Right, the airplanes are once again coming. So this time, stop with the music and now continue with filming airplanes that are arriving. This is KLM flight 1294 arriving from Billund, an E2 Embraer 195, and the Emirates A380 now is flying in the vicinity of Purmerend, which is in the vicinity of the scale of chimney smokes, chimneys. And lo and behold, here it is, quite easily to see with good visibility. Emirates flight 147, fourth airplane to land here, being preceded by 3 narrow bodies, the first of which is getting awfully close to the runway now. What I am curious about is to see if the 747 arriving from Miami is also going to be assigned to this runway, or if it is going to land on runway 06. I fear for the latter, truth be told, but you never know. Second airplane visible is KLM flight 1754 arriving from Hamburg. That is a 737-700. Right, once again, we're back with arrivals. Runway 18 right. Polderbaan constantly in use, but used for both inbound and outbound traffic as secondary runway today. E2 Embraer 195. Whining. It's PH NXF. I think we also saw it leave earlier. 747 to Kaagbaan, as expected. Thanks, Peter, for letting us know. Right, Emirates should be turning in the background somewhere. There it is. Emirates flight 147 approaching the glide slope. Gear is extending, first the outer main gear and then the inner. So there you go, Emirates flight 147, now number 2 to land. And now number 1 to land. The 737 has touched down, preceding it. Emirates Flight 147 arriving from Dubai, 6 hours and 34 minutes on the way. That is a nominal flight duration. 6.5 hours is usually what they average when they are at this point in the sky. So 4 minutes more or less. That is very much nominal flight duration. It is a 10-year-old airplane, the A6 Echo Oscar Bravo. First flight June 2014. And a little speck in the background that is turning in. That is KLM flight 1800 arriving from Düsseldorf. Mark Hilton also back in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Perfect timing. So yeah, it is a day where runway use is a bit different from what we are used to. The Polderbaan today acting as a secondary runway for both inbound and outbound traffic. Right now, the Polderbaan has been reopened. The primary runway for inbound traffic is 06. And the primary runway for outbound traffic is 09. And we've seen Polderbaan in use in both directions already. This is the second inbound peak. Arkia is also coming this way, an A321neo arriving from Tel Aviv. That is 2 airplanes after this airplane. Quite colorful livery. Don't see them very often, so looking forward to seeing it up close. Much more colorful livery if you compare that with El Al. That is the second consecutive day that we have seen the A380 land on the runway we were filming next to. Beautiful landing. Great sound also from the reversers. And even though this summertime, it is now the second consecutive day that we saw the A380 land on the runway we were standing next to. That is quite a rarity. Sadly, it means that we are not going to see Atlas Air land here as well. It will land on runway 06. So yeah, Atlas Air arriving from Miami. Still over the Gulf of Yorkshire, approaching the Dutch coast. Unfortunately, has been assigned to 06. Wouldn't it be nice if ATC were to change its runway assignment? Frank says, told you the Hells Angels to ATC visit paid off. The Emirates will be on the runway where you film, boy. If you did that, then thank you and the Hells Angels for visiting ATC to make them see that it would be a good idea to let the A380 go to the runway where I am filming. Next airplane to land after this is Arkia, arriving from Tel Aviv in Israel. That is quite a colorful livery. Here we go. This is Arkia flight 513. Arkia Israeli Airlines arriving from Tel Aviv. 4 hours and 23 minutes underway. 6-year-old airplane, first flight October 2018. So this is an Arkia A321neo. 6 years old already. First flight was in October 2018. Looks so much more colorful than El Al, doesn't it? All right, now I'm wondering what else is coming. Narrow bodies, narrow bodies, narrow bodies, narrow bodies, narrow bodies, narrow bodies, narrow bodies. Qatar arriving from Doha. But that is still over central Germany. Atlas Air 7478. That is... Yeah, right. Qatar A350 1000, Doha to Houston near Diemen. Think, could that be it? I think that might be it. Where did it go? Yeah, that's the Qatar A350 1000. Quite clearly recognizable as such. For now I can see that there's only narrow body after narrow body after narrow body coming in for the runway we are standing next to, so yeah, it seems that, assuming that everything from the east will be assigned to the Polderbaan, it seems that the first wide body that we can expect is Qatar, which is still over German heartland. Means I'm going to give it a go to see if we can still catch a glimpse of Atlas Air arriving from Miami. I think I'm going to wrap it up after that. Now, Visited the polderbaan today. I am going to the kartbaan tomorrow unless something unforeseen will happen, but I'm assuming that the wind is still going to be in the same corner more or less. I'm expecting more or less the same runway use. Of course I'm going to check it out, but thought they said that the wind was going to blow from the east this weekend, or maybe, just maybe, if they are going to keep runway 09 open as primary runway for outbound traffic, maybe going to the McDonald's area is also interesting. That might also be a viable option. So Atlas Air is now flying just south of where I live and is approaching the glide slope to runway 06. It is going to be a bit of a stretch. Once the airplane is past Hoofddorp, we should be able to see it over there. Yeah. That is the E2 Embraer 195. Okay, so already visible a bit earlier then. Okay. Atlas Air next after that. That's going to be the last airplane for today's show. Oh. A near contrail get together, but they passed one another. At least it looked like it was going to be close. Turned out it wasn't. Soon to appear, only briefly and only very hard to see, Atlas Air 7478, flight 8209, arriving from Miami in Florida. November 859, Gin Tonic is the registration of this airplane. Flight time 8 hours and 2 minutes. It is a 9-year-old airplane that we are going to see. And Stephen in the chat saying hi and bye. Yeah, this is going to be the last airplane for today. Should become visible pretty soon. There it is. Atlas Air, 8 hours and 3 minutes on the way from Miami. 9-year-old airplane, first flight October 2015 and last airplane of today's show. I'm already going to go ahead and thank you all for joining me here today. Despite the periods of tediousness in between the runway changes, I did still have a good time here, and I hope you guys enjoyed the show as much as I have, or preferably a bit more. If you like what you saw and you haven't already, consider leaving a like. It allegedly helps to promote the channel to new viewers who haven't heard of the channel yet, but who might also be interested in live streams like these. A big thank you for all the support, for the likes, for the super chats, the super stickers. Those who became a member themselves, the few gifted memberships today. A big thank you to the mods as well for keeping the chat friendly and accessible to all. Hope to see you all tomorrow once again for another live stream from a different location than this. It's going to be either the Kaagbaan or it's going to be the area next to the McDonald's. I am quickly going to check and see what the wind is going to do. It says here, yeah, so No rain expected in the next couple of weeks. The wind, however, is expected to turn to the east, so there might be a continuation of the same runway use that we saw today. And that means that 09 is going to be used for primary as primary runway for outbound. That might be interesting. Then again, yeah, well, let me just contemplate about it. It's either going to be that or the Kaagbaan. Either way, thank you for joining me here today. Enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe, be warm, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye for now. See you soon.